If I could have everyone's attention, please. We've had a lot of attention from the media today to talk to Richard about the issue that took place last weekend at New Hampshire. So he is going to make a brief statement, and then we'll open it up to a couple of questions and go from there. Richard?
Thank you, David. Really, I don't have a lot more to say than what we said in our press release. You know, three things that stands out to me that we said in the press release is, number one, we were close at Richmond, and they told us don't bring the car back. They were going to look at the car after New Hampshire. Well, I hope the integrity that RCR and Richard Childress has built up over the 40-plus years in this sport, we wouldn't be, I'll use the word dumb enough, stupid enough to bring a car to the racetrack that we know that was out of the tolerances. Two, I can assure you, because I looked at numbers personally, looked at the cars on the plates before they went to New Hampshire, that those cars were legal when they left. And three, the only thing that we can come up with is why the car was a thickness of a penny over the tolerance, which is 60 thousandths. Why the car got up there, the only thing we can say is that when the wrecker hit the car, a couple of people hit it, Jamie got into it. Who knows really what happened there? And I don't think anyone could look us square in the face and say, without a shadow of doubt, that wrecker couldn't have moved that car 60 thousandths. And that's where we stand today. And appreciate the press working with us. And not that I didn't want to talk to a lot of you that had asked earlier today. I felt it was better just to make a statement. And thank you all.
Okay, we'll take a couple of questions. So Claire B. and Steve.
Claire B. Lang, Sirius NASCAR Radio. A lot of drivers have been in here today, and the conversation sort of centered around two things. One is the tolerance. How big is the tolerance? And isn't the tolerance what prevents there from being something that pushes into it into the gray area? It's your protection zone. How big is the tolerance, and how close to the tolerance do you believe you guys should be? And second of all, some people, including Denny Hamlin, had said that they had heard for months you guys were too close to the tolerance. Your reaction?
Well, I think everybody gets close, and your competitors, when you get closer to racing for a win, they always think you're cheating. You know, hell, everybody thought Jimmy Johnson for the years might have been cheating or something. But that's the competitors. They got the right to say what they feel. I don't never throw a competitor under the bus. We go out and try to beat them on the track. Second, the tolerances that NASCAR gives on this issue, I think, because I haven't seen it in writing, the numbers we were told was 70 thousandths, the thickness 10 thousandths over a penny. I don't know. That's what we were told. Everybody gets as close. You know, if you're going to weigh, if a car weighs supposed to weigh 3,400 pounds, you're going to get it on 3,400 pounds. That's a competitor in everybody. You get as close as you can, and we got close at Richmond, but we haven't crossed the border. And how this happened, the only thing we can come up with is that. Thank you, Claire.
Steve Richards, PRN. Richard, knowing the history of the appeal process, what do you think your chances are on the appeal?
All I'm going to ask for is a fair appeal. That's all I want, is a fair appeal. And I've only, in the history of RCR, I don't think we've been to maybe 3 appeals. Didn't win any of them, but.
We'll go Joe, then we'll go Bob, and then we'll go Dustin.
Richard, Joe Menzer, NASCAR.com. It seems like NASCAR kind of just dismissed out of hand the tow truck causing the damage out of hand. Do you have any hopes that they will listen to you a little bit more thoroughly on that in the appeal process, and why would you think that they would?
Well, I mean, that's what the appeal's for, is to have an appeal board to hear both sides of the story, and hopefully we can present a case enough to know that being bumped pretty severe a couple of times by a tow truck is enough to move it to 60 thousandths.
Bob?
Bob Hocker, Scene Daily. You talked about your 40 years of integrity. Do you feel that this damages it at all? And kind of more recently, do you feel it puts a cloud over kind of the comeback of the last year?
Well, I don't think it puts a cloud over it because we haven't been out of the box. It's the first time that they've said that we were out of the box. Everybody gets close to the lines, no matter what the tolerance. If the engine's supposed to be 358, you're at 357.9. I think that timing for our sport with sponsors is pretty critical right now for anything to happen to a team.
We'll go Dustin, and we'll go gentleman here, and then we'll go to David Newton, and maybe one more after that.
Yeah, so.
Dustin Long, Landmark Newspapers. Richard, two things. One, you said you hope for a fair hearing, a fair appeal. Can you define what a fair appeal is in your mind? And two, how do you try to how do you try to prove to three individuals that a tow truck or something else did this and this wasn't something that was done in the shop? I mean, how are you going to prove this in your appeal?
We have some ways to do it. We'll have to save that for the appeal, how we're going to approach that. And a fair appeal is three men that do understand the sport and understand things that could happen that could change that's out of our environment.
Richard, Randy Kovitz, Kansas City Star. If just looking at, from a positive standpoint, can you just kind of talk about, though, still having three in the chase after not having any last year, and kind of in a nutshell, just kind of talk about this turnaround and what went into it?
A lot of work went into it. We did have new cars up there, but the cars that we brought up there, the bodies were legal. The thing that we had when we started out the chase was brand new brakes, brand new radiators, brand new hoses, every piece on those cars for the chase. We spent a ton of money to make sure that we don't have failures, oil lines, oil tanks, you name it. Every piece on these cars are brand new. When we say we brought brand new cars, it's not because we brought any. You're in a box, you can't go but so far. What we did, we invested in components, parts, pieces, spindles, hubs, rear housings, you name it, millions of dollars here to win this championship with brand new race cars. And by you saying brand new race cars, that's every component. Where we don't have failures. And I'm proud of our team, and I'm going to walk just as high. I ain't going to take a step out of the way for nobody, and I'm going to look anybody in the eye because I know what we did. I know what we've done to get us here, and we haven't cheated to get here. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Anybody, I can look everybody in the eye, walk down through our, we have did as much as anybody in the sport to get back where we're at. Spent millions of dollars, put the right people in place, and a 16th of an inch isn't going to make me have a cloud over my head.
We'll go to David Newton, and then we'll wrap it up with that.
Two questions, Richard. Do you have a kind of a unified way of measuring all the cars the same there? Because the 31 and the 29 apparently were clear. So do they all the same person or group or whatever measure all three cars the same way? And second, Denny Hamlin says that the garage has known for months that this has been going on and that y'all were warned before Richmond. Can you comment on that?
The last one, I would be bad to say what I really want to say, so it's not smart for me to say what I bite your lip. Okay. The first one was we have one of the most sophisticated measuring systems in the sport. And we measure every car, and we know where we're at to the thousands. It's a GPS system set up in our race shop that we know where we're at when we leave. And we know, without a shadow of doubt, that car left within the tolerances, well within the tolerances.
All right. We appreciate it.
Thank you all.